Good day everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the East German save with Dynamo Dresden. This is episode number 11 on the challenge of trying to win the blooming Bundesliga title. Let's go straight into it because we have had a massive movement in the transfer market, and it is with a little bit of sadness and a little bit of regret that unfortunately our star player, who had an absolutely blinding season, let's face it, last season, and I was going to always struggle to hold on to him, Noah Daubner has left the club, albeit for 80 million.
Nice.
Which is the biggest transfer that the club has had in its entire history. But yes, as you can see here, he developed after, what was it, 4 seasons with us when we got him from Kaiserslautern. His record was just, it was phenomenal. What a wonder kid this one was. But I just couldn't keep hold of him. And at 22 years old, in fact, actually, it was Liverpool and Real Madrid that both bid 75 million for him. I rejected it, managed to get it up another 5 million, and he went for 80. I probably could have got a little bit more, but I didn't want to push my luck too much because I understand that I need to get this club moving on to winning the title, and this 80 million will go very far. But thank you very much, Noah Daubner. It's been a pleasure having you at the club. Unfortunately, you had to go this time and onto bigger and better things. As well as Maicon Ribeiro, he's gone, and Mario Gonzalez, both the South American right backs that I bought as wonder kids just didn't work out. And also, weirdly enough, Dennis Simon developed into a reasonably good goalkeeper but never got any further, which is a little bit weird because when I've bought him before on this game, he's been brilliant, but for some reason this time just didn't work out. But like I say, we did spend a fair bit of money. So starting from the bottom, I did bring in one free transfer, and that is a regen called Stephen Gillespie, a Scottish right back. Only 2.5 stars, so he's going to be a squad player, but he does like the big games. I think actually he's a pretty decent fullback, so he'll do a job for us. And anyway, for a free transfer, if he does go in a couple of years, it means I get a bit of money, so it's all good. Then Carlos Granados from Junior for 500k is another Colombian goalkeeper, another South American. A little bit of the old Rene Higuita style haircut going on there, and yeah, as a backup, he'll do alright, and he's actually played a couple of games because my other keeper, Zapata, got injured. Then next one, Sylvain Height from Nice is a all-round central midfielder. Again, 23 years old, bit of a squad player, but is consistent, does like the big games, physically very good. Mentals and technicals still need a little bit of developing, but I think overall, good squad player. Then Ramon Clerc is another one who I've brought in. Again, squad player, can play through that central midfield point, but also has a 5-star potential ability. So I'm actually kind of hopeful we'll get a decent player out of this. But can he oust Wadrego from the side? That is the question. And then on top of that, I bought another central midfielder. Marcelo Sayer, another wonder kid, but with a fickle personality. I missed that when I bought him. I wouldn't have bought him otherwise. 5-star potential ability, a little bit injury prone, which is a little bit annoying. Can't jump very well, but has very good technicals. I think actually as a shadow striker, this kid may be alright. But I think he may need some loan time first. And then I made Horace Weibo's move permanent to us after he played last season on loan for us. And did pretty well actually, 42 games, 8 goals with 1 assist. 8 goals being from the penalty spot, by the way. So he was our penalty taker. Centre back as a penalty taker, that's weird. And then brought him in for 23 million, so I thought that was actually a fairly decent deal. And then the last one, I wanted to bring in another German player, Soren Oliver Nachtigall. What a name that is. Defensive midfielder, purely an anchor. 42 million, 5-star ability, resolute personality at 19 years old. Bought him from Bayer Leverkusen. I think this kid could actually develop into an absolute blinding player. And then, if I go back, no other players before the tick over. And there were a couple of players that did leave before the tick over, and that was Neco Williams and Miles Lewis-Skelly. They've both gone back to the UK now for, I'd say, about 12 million in total, which means actually financially we've got a good balance. I'm actually only getting 60% of the transfer revenue now, which I don't know why. And then we do have a little bit of debt and loan, 27 million remaining, but it's not too bad. But obviously we don't have European football this season because we missed out again, which is a little bit difficult. Tactically wise, I've not put any players in But if we do a pick without the restrictions on it, then we do have Zapata, Morgala, Trellis, Bitsiabu, Martinez, Decat, Due, Guadrego, Carboni, Rusfink and Bondarenko as our starting 11 choice. But Morgala and Zapata are both injured, and Zapata is going to be out for 3 months because he broke his ankle. And Morgala only a couple of weeks. That means my new goalkeeper, Granados, is going to play quite a few games, and it'd be interesting to see if he develops off that. Scheduling wise as well, we've played a few games and we've started off reasonably well. A 0-0 draw at Bayer Leverkusen after a 6-0 win in the first round of the Pokal, with 2 wins against Kaiserslautern and Hertha Berlin and a draw against Cologne. Puts 6 in the Bundesliga to start off with. That's not too bad. But I do have a highlights reel to show you, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be back into European competitions for next season. Maybe even win a Pokal. I really, really want to win something now. It's getting a little bit desperate, seeing as we're only 10 seasons in. But come on, let's go and have a look and see how we do. I'll see you guys in a few seconds. We want consistency and European football. Sadly, the latter won't come in the Pokal again. Even though we beat Kilia Kiel, Freiburg and Dusseldorf 3-0, we were beaten in the quarterfinals this time 3-0 by FC Köln. In the league, we had a great start, remaining unbeaten all the way to November. We managed wins against Leipzig 2-1, Hamburg 5-2, and Borussia Dortmund 3-1, but we also took some beatings like a 6-2 versus Bayern Munich and also Leipzig 4-1. But ultimately, we had a pretty safe season, and we finished 5th and qualified for the Champions League. Well, I'm going to take that for this season. That's not too bad a season at all. I'm very happy with the fact that we finished 5th. That means we do have a European spot. But what is the European competition that we're going into next season? We're going into the Champions League. Yes. Champions League qualification means more money. And if we do have a good run in it and we can actually qualify into the knockout rounds, that means we bring even more money in for that one. So I'm very, very happy with that. Not too bad on the points wise. We missed out on 3rd by 4 points, and it was Cologne that are challenging Bayern. Where have they come from? That's annoying. And unsurprisingly as well, Cologne were actually the ones obviously that knocked us out of the quarterfinals of the Pokal. That's probably I think actually the closest that we've come to another final since earlier on in the save. I think like season 2 or season 3 I think it was. So we still have some work to do, but I think we're going in the right direction again and using that money wisely that we got off the Daubner side of things. But if we have a look at the squad and see how we did this season, obviously losing Daubner affected our goals. Bondarenko did step up though a little bit, 15 and 10, 13 and 11 from Carboni, Guadrego 11 and 10 as well, 7 and 9 from Bernardi, but I'll come to that in a second. Bernardi's on loan. 5 and 5 from Desiree Doué. Ooh. Desiree Doué has only got a year left on his contract as well. And he is wanted. He is potentially a player who could be leaving in the summer, possibly. But overall, the output is a little bit lower this season, so that's a little bit disappointing. Transfer-wise as well, I did bring in one player in the transfer window of January, and that was another striker. Because I noticed when it came to, I stopped it at the January transfer point. I was looking at the results and we were lacking goals, and I wanted to bring in another striker to replace Daubner, and I found this guy, Robin Fries, or Fries. Looks very, very similar attribute-wise to Daubner. Very quick, very agile, good composure and flair, decent finishing, and he only scored 2 goals in 12 games. Now, okay, you bring a player in halfway through the season, it's always hard for them to settle, so benefit of the doubt on this one. Hopefully we'll get the best out of him next season. But, like I say, we brought him in the January for 14 million, which I don't think is a bad price. Even if we sell him, he could go for a lot of money. Also, I lost my left back. Not down the back of the sofa. Unfortunately, my left back, Antonio Martinez, the superstar left back from Mexico, who I really, really liked in my team, got pipped by Barcelona for 27.5 million, which was a release clause. So that's a little bit annoying. But with that, that does actually give us 26 million for next season in the transfer window, which I don't think is too bad. So, albeit, that's okay. Well, there we have it. That is the end of the episode. And again, another bit of a frustrating one, but I feel we're sort of turning the corner a little bit now. So, Don't forget to leave a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this content. And go and have a look at the rest of the series I've done. I've got loads on here now. Plenty to choose from. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later. Ta-ra!